Hello and welcome to another exciting episode of Way of the Brush with me, your host, Chris, aka the Name Butcher, aka Hey You Get Off My Lawn, aka Chris, you're being creepy again. Way of the Brush, the most informative 120 minutes on the internet on the wargaming lifestyle. We'll talk about painting, terrain, conversions, and everything under the sun. Meaning no topics are barred. We'll talk about anything and everything. So, first time viewers, be warned. We can go off the rails pretty fast around here. So if you really have a question you really need answered, be sure to stay on topic and, ask your questions early, because who knows where we go. And of course, if you're not watching this after this has been already streamed live, you can submit your questions to Chris at Way of the Brush. It is in the description below, as well as a link to wayofthebrush.com. Central hub of all the silliness, has links to all the social medias, as well as Discord. Discord's fantastic. Join us on Discord. It's a lot of fun, and we keep the conversations rolling there 24/7, so feel free to join us there. Of course, also at wayofthebrush.com has links for t-shirts. Want to get yourself a t-shirt? Look like a connoisseur of all that is good and holy in this world. They're wearing a Way of the Brush t-shirt. And of course, if you purchase yourself a shirt, send a picture of yourself in your shirt, and then we'll add it to the Monkey Shrine, which is also at wayofthebrush.com, because it's nice to put a name to the face and a face to the name. Also at wayofthebrush.com is a link for Patreon support. Want to help support the channel? Help me continue to do what I do, which is educate and sometimes entertain. That's how you can do it. There are varying tiers to support at, so feel free to peruse around. And of course, I do also produce videos that are just for patrons, tutorials and things like that. So if you're familiar with the tutorials I create, I do create extras for patrons as well. And of course, patrons also get early access to videos. So we're currently about 2-3 weeks ahead. I think it's 2 weeks, something like 2 weeks, I think. But either way, if you want to stay ahead of the curve and look and impress your friends, go, well, I'm doing this because it's a lot of fun. It's a good way to impress your friends, if you're all about impressing your friends. I don't know do people still do that? I don't know, do kids still do that? Wait. And of course, if you're not able to support monetarily, I forgot where I was going with my spiel here. If you're not able to support monetarily, i.e. money, you can also help me out tremendously by thumbing up the video, liking, commenting, following, subscribing, ringing the bell, and all that other stuff. Helps the channel tremendously, and all it takes is a couple clicks of a button, and you're helping me out a great deal. So, huge thank you for taking the time out of your busy day to do that. Big thank you to Carl, aka Guymere Elfer, aka Beer and Blood Bowl. That's his YouTube channel. We always take the time to thank Carl, rest his soul, for creating the email jingles that play before the email segment of the show. And so always much love for Carl. And of course, speaking of love, much love to my baby brother, Evan, for creating the intro outro music that plays at the beginning and end of the show. And so always much love to my baby bro, Evan. And of course, if you're into rare comics and such, check them out, EB Comics. I'm sure there's many of you out there who are into comics and such, so feel free to, check them out. Feel free. Just feel free, How is the chat situation looking here? Path Rip, evening. Ebb and Flow, sup everybody, sup. Eric Fountain, morning Chris and Monkeys, morning. David Vega, what's up Chris and Monkeys, what's up. Aaron Seach, howdy Chris and happy Monkeys, happy Saturday. I think you just did that just to mess me up. Greg Gurman, hey folks, just got home from the hospital rehab after back surgery. Oof, struggling to get back to normal. No kidding. Yeah, that sounds like doo-doo, man. Dark Commission, hi mighty ones and monkey minions. Hi. Sir Peanut Butter, morning Chris and peeps. Rogel Sean, Rogel Sean. Good evening. Iron. Oh, jeez. That scared the crap out of me. The Iron Mustache is following on Twitch. Well, thank you, Iron Mustache. That's. I didn't see it pop up on my screen because I forgot to open one program that allows me to see all this stuff, and yeah. Oh, and my Demon Monkey Bot is actually working today. For some strange reason, he hasn't been working, and so finally, he is working. Thankfully. The Iron Addict. Hey there, Chris and Monkeys. Happy Saturday. Happy Saturday. David Brunfeld. Get healthy, Greg. Yes, get healthy, Greg. Get healthy. Hopefully it wasn't too serious, but I mean, it's back surgery. I mean, I don't think there's not serious surgery. I mean, like, if they got to cut you open, I mean, like, it's pretty serious, right? So, but hopefully, everything goes well, and hopefully it corrected the issues for you. Actually, I don't know. I mean, like, I'm not going to say anything because, you never know. The man might be in worse shape. So I'm not going to say anything. I'm just going to say speedy recovery. There we go. The Iron Mustache. Good afternoon. Good afternoon, the Iron Mustache. The Iron Mustache. That sounds like... I don't know. It sounds like something that I should be a part of. The Iron Mustache. Kayoma, hello, just popped by. Got to watch the show tomorrow, but I got a few minutes now to watch a bit. That sounds like those Jeff Foxworthy, euphemisms, like what is it, the redneck euphemisms or terms? Anyway, watch a bit. Oh yeah, watch a bit? I'm just gonna watch a bit. It's like what was it? What you did you? You didn't bring your truck with you, did you? The Iron Mustache. I always admire another mustache aficionado. That's a stupendous appendage there, sir. Well, thank you. It actually doesn't take that long. Like, if I shave this off, which I'm not, maybe, I don't know. We're getting out near the end of summer now, and the heat isn't, it's still pretty damn hot around here, but, yeah, in the beginning there, beginning of the summer, I was like, oh man, I'm just going to, just take the razor right to this thing. But now it's, starting to slightly cool down a bit, and it's not annoying me as much. But, anywho, yeah, it doesn't take too long to grow this back, and in fact, if I shave right down to, obviously, to the skin, like past the skin, and, yeah, the ends here always grow first, and for whatever reason, they grow long really fast. So to do this kind of thing with my mustache is not really an issue. And in fact, it always takes a while for this to actually kind of come in and, thicken up a bit. But anyway, I know. First world problems, right? Greg Gerben. Thanks, guys. It's only minor surgery. No, I'm a lot better. Just readjusting my goals. Okay. Raziel, hello, I still live. Yes, you still live. Hopefully. I mean, as you're typing it, unless, of course, you're undead. In which case, the zombie apocalypse is upon us. KO! The fur actually turned out great. Thanks for the help. Awesome. Oh, the texture. Yeah, I saw it on Discord. Yeah, I saw you were painting up. It was 54 millimeter. He posted on the Discord. We have a channel for posting work in progress and completed minis, and he was posting between the two as he was working. It was about a 54 mil like serial killer bunny kind of thing, and he had painted a fur texture on the face. Check it out; it's pretty cool. Well, I'm sure he'll probably send us an email at some point, and we'll all get to enjoy it. Greg German, the minor surgery bit is an old joke. It's minor surgery, yeah, because it's minor. Like anytime they got to cut you open, I mean, like that's not minor, right? It's kind of major. Dark Commission, the Iron Mustache sounds like a steampunk Bavarian general. Yeah, it does. It sounds like it sounds like he should be like riding a steam powered boat tank. A tank boat. A boat tank or a tank boat. But yeah, and he's got the helmet with the big spike on top. Yeah. Iron Mustache, I hear you. That feeling of moisture under the stash on top of the lip can be annoying. It is. Right now, actually. As you mention it, I can feel it right there. Take a sip of coffee. That'll take care of it, right? Voice of the Emperor. I am also still alive. Okay, anybody who's not alive, feel free not to comment. Well, that's kind of obvious, isn't it? Oh, man. So, what are we all about today? I only have actually one. Yeah, I've only got like one email to do today, so she might be a short show. She might be. You never know. Sorry, I'm just quickly checking my emails to make sure I'm not missing any. So yeah, I've only got one email to do, and it's from who's it from? It's from our good buddy Mike Grimshaw, aka Heathen Cross, and it's a good one too. It's interesting. I don't see many of these models. I mean, like I see a bunch of them online, but yeah, It's basically the what is it? The Avengers game? The hell's it called? I don't even know what the hell that Avengers game's called. Nice. Farseer Indril. Anyway, hi Chris. Finally switched my username to fit my favorite 40k faction. It was Leman Russ before. Ah, okay. So you've gone from Leman Russ to So you've gone from a Space Wolf to a Farseer. Awesome. Early on, with internet handles, one of my online handles was Nearseer. Play on Farseer. And right. I know it's pretty lame. I'm pretty lame actually. Ebb and Flow. His name is Robert Paulson. Oh no! Don't start that. David Runfield still checking. Heisenberg uncertainty principle is not telling me yet if I am alive or dead. Yeah, you know what? I actually had a thought the other day about the whole the uncertainty principle and Schrodinger's cat. Because it was it's obviously about the quantum state of particles, right? And they are not they can be in any and all positions, but until you measure it, do you know what position is in? Which is, I mean, kind of, it's almost kind of obvious, right? I mean, like, who knows what it is? It's kind of like if a tree falls in the woods and no one's around, does it make a sound? Right? It's one of those kind of things. And realistically, that kind of idea is very what's the word I'm looking for here? It displays a lot of self-centeredness around the human creature, that something can possibly exist, or it can't possibly exist because we haven't noticed it yet, we haven't seen it yet, we haven't discovered it yet, even though it's something that already exists. And you know what I mean, like, right? And yeah, and so it is a lack of awareness that of course it exists, right? Like, but anyway, Mike Grimshaw, Marvel Rainbow Lunchbox. Rainbow Lunchbox? That's not what it's called. What's it called? The game. Coma, if you only got one email, I'll send one. No, you don't have to. You don't have to send an email. I can do a short show. This show usually runs like really friggin' long, so, and I usually don't intend for it to. Sorry, I have to look around my mic because it blocks a bit of my screen here. I suppose I could move my mic up, or I can move it in closer, but then it's in the shot, right? It's just, But then I'm talking like this into the mic, and then you're all hearing, and of course everybody who's wearing headphones, it's all like, oh my god, it's really freaking loud. So that's why I don't do it. Path Rip. Well, usernames is an interesting thing. Had a good username in English, and then I realized in Danish, I'm Danish, it sounded like hemorrhoids, and then it became Pathrip, aka the face roll on the keyboard. That sounded like hemorrhoids. Dark emission. Sound only exists in the brain. Well, sound is simply just, the airwaves, right? Because in space, sound doesn't exist. Crisis Protocol. Thank you, David Brunfeld. Crisis Protocol. Sound does exist because it's simply the percussive force and it moves through the air and we perceive it as sound. We are conditioned to survive within this environment. We are developed on this environment. If we are from a world that was very thin in atmosphere, our hearing might not be very well developed or very well developed because we have to be really sensitive to the very minor shockwaves through the air. Or if it was a very dense atmosphere, our hearing would be very downplayed, or one of the two, right, kind of thing, because you can kind of look at it either one of ways, right? But yeah, we are conditioned to exist in this environment, and there's many things in this universe that we think is only for us to see or to observe, and it's all about our experience. That, you know what I mean? Like, for example, we know there's many things that exist in this universe, and we are not equipped to perceive them. We are not equipped to perceive them. For example, ultraviolet or infrared, right? Those are just outside of our spectrum of visibility. We know they exist, right? But we're not equipped to observe them. We need technology and things to perceive those wavelengths of energy. And sound is another one. Sound. We don't have hearing like a dog. A dog can perceive all sorts of sound frequencies, and yet we are completely lost to them. We have no perception of them. It doesn't affect our day-to-day lives. It's not something that this animal was created to. We've never needed it in our experience as we've evolved into this whatever we are, right? Just something to consider, that there's many things, and so, for example, our ideas about extra dimensions. Well, we're not equipped to perceive extra dimensions. We're not equipped for it, and so when oftentimes we are looking at complex math and things like these nature, that we might not have the necessary tools to perceive these solutions because it's outside of our experience. It might be only something that artificial intelligence might be able to perceive, but then again, artificial intelligence is going to be programmed by us, and it's going to have all of our flaws, most likely. Unless, of course, we create something that evolves, in which case that most likely is the next step of human evolution, which I have some thoughts on that one too. But anyway. Crisis Protocol, thank you, yeah. Useless Wizard, there he is. ASMR. Oh, putting the mic up to my face, yeah. Ghost of Starman. I'm late, dang. You're late. Now, as punishment for being late and tardy, I want you to take a ruler or such and whack yourself across the knuckles several times and say my name or your name. What's our safe word? Pineapple. Say pineapple. Grim. Marvel Crisis Protocol. I only know that one due to Adepticon goodie bag. Also, hello Grim. Yes, Crisis Protocol, that's it. I haven't tried it. It looks interesting. I mean, like, over the years, I've kind of become very fatigued with Marvel stuff, and overall, I was not terribly impressed with Endgame. I thought Infinity War was a far better film. Endgame was very disappointing in comparison. It wasn't a bad movie. It just, by comparison, Infinity War was a far better film. But anyway. Ebb and flow. The Higgs boson particle was theoretical until they found it years later. Yeah. STOS. Hello from Australia, Chris. Spelt my name wrong. Just curious why you left MWG. Also, when are you and Ash getting back into your Necromunda campaign. Super keen for that. I'm super keen for it too. I've slowly been preparing stuff. I've been busy, and I was like, oh well, I'll get to it in a moment, and because I'm doing other stuff, and then of course the Indominus box dropped, and I've been painting my way through the Necrons, and I've been trying to keep motivated on that. Otherwise, if I don't, they'll never get done, and I want to get them done. And my corpse grinders, I actually picked up Dark Uprising, and I haven't even touched sprue one of it yet. And I want to, because I have a plan. But also, I wanted to pick up the tiles, the Zone Mortalis Necromunda tiles. I wanted to pick this. I wanted to pick up a bunch of sets of them, and I'm still waiting for those to drop. So anybody knows when those things will drop or where to find them without getting price gouged, let me know. But why I left Mini Wargaming? Well, it was a year ago this month, right? Because we're in August. It's August 15th. Yeah, we're getting pretty close to the 1 year anniversary of me leaving Mini Wargaming. I was let go, actually. What episode was it? Episode Way of the Brush. Like 160, I think? Or no, 160. 260? I think it's 260. Something like that. Go back in the episodes. And that's pretty much shortly after my departure from there. And I talk about it in some detail. So you can go back to that one. But yeah. Rezia, Chris, question about Golden High Flow Fluorescence. After your Necron videos, I was impressed. After the videos, you were impressed, but before that, you weren't? Makes sense. Have you tried the other colors beside magenta? And if so, do you recommend them or another type? For the high flow fluorescence? Yeah, the orange fluorescence. Where's my orange fluorescence? Wait, crap. Hitting all sorts of stuff. Where is it? There it is. And I think I have green as well. Green or yellow? They have a few colors, but yeah, like look how bright that is. I can't see in this screen here. Oh yeah, you can barely see. It doesn't even look orange. It looks like a golden yellow. But this is orange. This is like, like hazards, like, industrial fluorescent orange. It's a fluorescent orange, like the tape or like a hunter's jacket. It's like that. It's a bright orange. But mind you though, here, let me see. I gotta adjust my screen here. But if you can see on the color swatch, yeah, here, I'll point it in the shadow. You can see how you can see the stripes in the little color swatch. Now that's a smear of paint. They do that so you can see the light fastness of the color, right? And you can see it is a very thin, and it does not have a lot of opacity to it. So if you're gonna use these colors, you gotta lay a nice strong white down first, and then put your fluorescence down. Otherwise, if it's any deviance from white, it will be apparent. But I mean, you can use that to your advantage. In some of the tutorials, I do that. I start off with grays, build up to white, put the fluorescence on top, and it already gives you your varying tones, right? Because the light fastness is not very strong. And of course, I also lay a few layers down as well. So, and yeah, I was getting projects done yesterday, and I was working on this little guy, and he's pretty much done. I did his base. All I got to do is give the base a quick dry brush, like on the texture, because I laid down a bunch of the texture paint. Let me see here. Do I feel like monkeying? No, I don't feel like monkeying with this. But anyway, yeah, I just got to do a quick dry brush, bring out that texture, and do the rim, and this little guy is done. What the hell's he called? Canaptic Plasmacyte? That's it. All these weird Necron-y names. But anyway, yeah, this guy was a lot of fun. I finished him on the stream yesterday, and so he was a bit of fun. But yeah, the fluorescence, to go back to the original question, yeah, the fluorescence, I like them. I like Golden High Flow. They are really good paints. They're designed for airbrush, marker, paintbrush, you name it. And it's just a solid pigment in a very thin suspension. In the airbrush, I don't even thin it, and it flows out really nicely. When you're turning the PSI way down, when you're trying to get real close into something, I would recommend a thinner, just because at some of the edges, it spurts out like little dots, and if you want to avoid some of that, but I'm talking like you're getting in really, really close, So, anywho, But yeah, so Raziel, hopefully that answers your question. But yeah, I do have, and I thought I had a green around. What was it? The yellow. It was the green or the yellow. And I've been using these colors for a while because I think, what was I using them for? I can't remember. Or maybe it was the Vallejo. It might have been when last time I was playing with the fluorescence quite a bit was I was doing engine glow for Star Wars, the fighters, the game, X-Wing. I was doing engine glow and just showing that, and I was using like the fluorescent blue, the fluorescent yellows, the fluorescent orange, fluorescent pink, and yeah, so I was having a lot of fun. But anyway, Rogelshawn, I may have pooped a little at that mic up close. The close-up mic, yeah. You might have pooped a little, yeah. Farseer. With that voice, you could buy a radio host. Oh, do a radio show? Yeah. I had considered it early on, like a year ago, when I first left Mini Wargaming, that, like if I was going to have to find like regular kind of work, or if I was going to continue to do this, content producer type of YouTube, social media type of prep, right? And, yeah, I considered applying to some of the local radio stations and stuff, and, see what happens. Considered it. I didn't actually fall through with it. I considered it. Keoma, then you should have another mail. I got Crisis Protocol. Nice minis, cool game. Yeah, the minis look cool. The minis look really cool. Sorry, I'm just checking, make sure it came through. It did. Coma? Yeah, there's Keoma. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, the minis are cool. I like the minis. I've seen a lot of that Hulk. One person I follow on YouTube, he had went through a nice little process of painting the Hulk. He's got a really fun channel. He does a lot of Star Wars, the Bandai Star Wars kits. Tagamo, that's his handle. Tagamo. I watch all his videos. Mainly because, I like watching his because he does a lot of work with LEDs, and that's something that interests me, and, yeah. Pathrip, Chris, have you wow, I can't read. Have you painted any Marvel minis? No, I have not painted any. No. Am I dying to? No. Am I going to? Who knows? I have some of the DC stuff, but I don't have any of the Marvel stuff. But yeah, I mean, it's there's so many minis out there, right? And I would bust into other minis, but it's for the same reason that anybody who does battle reports, everybody's covering 40K. Well, why? Well, because anybody who's going to produce content, you want to get views so that you can gain exposure, gain, a monetary, compensation, right? You want to get paid for your work, right? Everyone wants to get paid for the work. If you're just doing this for giggles, well then, sure, and then keep doing whatever it is you're doing. But if you want to make an actual go of this, then you got to stay within, what's kind of mainstream. 40K is mainstream. Warhammer 40,000 is mainstream in this niche within a niche hobby of ours. And painting Games Workshop Warhammer 40,000 models, that's what's going to get you the most views. And unfortunately, Space Marines. You look at most channels that have a whole bunch of views, what are they painting? Space Marines, right? So, I would paint other models, and I have. I've I've covered Relic Blade, some other stuff. Done Privateer Press models in the past, but a lot of it, my stuff these days is a lot of Games Workshop centric type models, right? It's not that I don't enjoy painting them; they're a lot of fun, and the sculpts these days. These Necron models are a lot of fun. I've been having fun with these. Been a while since that I've painted anything that wasn't Eldar that I had a lot of fun painting. But yeah, for the most part. But I mean, like, for me personally, my hobby began with Games Workshop miniatures. So, for me, I've been Games Workshop has been a big part of my hobby for a very long time. So, yeah. Does that make me a fanboy? I don't know. Probably, by some counts. But I do enjoy other games. I mean, but yeah, I mean, like some of them, you got to convince me on the aesthetics of the game. Like, for example, like, War Machine. I like War Machine. The gameplay was solid. The models, not so much. The models were a hard sell for me. Infinity got solid gameplay, apparently. Never played a game myself. Models, beautiful models. To me, though, I mean, just as a passerby, they all kind of look the same to me, right? They're not distinct like in Warhammer 40,000. The Space Marine doesn't get confused for a Tyranid, right? Just by the silhouette of the shape of the model. Whereas within Infinity, a lot of the models, because they all have that anime aesthetic to them, they all tend to look the same. Now, mind you, I have not looked at their models lately, but I know that's one of the things that I was not. I gave it a pass because, I mean, I like anime, but if I'm going to play a game of factions and, you know what I mean, and, I want some variety, right? So, yeah. But from what I understand, it's a solid game. It's a lot of fun. People play it all over the place, right? So, sure. David Brunfeld, happy anniversary. Mike Grimshaw, it's episode 263. 263, there we go. Yeah, so person who was asking about, STOS. Yeah, episode 263 was the episode where I talked about it. Farseer, I'm more of a DC person personally. Sure. I mean, I never took sides. Marvel, I mean, like X-Men. X-Men was my thing back then when I was into comics and everything like that. It was X-Men. Mike Grimshaw, I actually looked yesterday because that's about when I started watching. Oh yeah, okay, cool. And you never looked back? Don't look back. Don't reflect on it. It's like, geez, I've been watching this guy for a year. Oh my God, have I learned anything? No. Ghost Starman Deluxe. The episode name was Unleashed. Not sure what number though. Yeah. Reziel, Chris, awesome. Okay, cool. Yeah, that did help. Reziel, sorry for the incomplete message. I am mostly interested in the fluorescent blue and the green and yellow, like you see most Necrons. Yeah. Now for fluorescent blue, at least I thought I had a fluorescent blue in golden. But it might be a Vallejo. Anywho, the Vallejo fluorescent blue I found to be not quite as fluorescent as, say, the orange, the pink, and the yellows. Those tend to be like, my God, right? Whereas the blue, it glows, but it doesn't have that same glowiness. I guess it depends on the situation, right? Because, I mean, if you took it under a black light, boom, it's going to explode, right? So, yeah. Like this stuff here, like, you know what? Here, let's have a little bit of fun. Where's my light? There it is. Okay. Okay, we're gonna have fun here for a second. Here, I'm gonna quickly bring up this, okay, this. We'll go here. All right. Do this. Okay, watch this, kids. Watch this. Let's see. It's nice and focused. All right, like that. Now let's focus back here. Let's go about here. Right? Okay. Watch this. Boom. And this is a black light. Yeah. That's a lot of fun. That's a lot of fun. Like, it's glowy. It glows. Anyway. Oh, I should do the show like this, so it looks like I'm in disguise. I'm in witness protection. And Mr. Bello, can you tell us where they touched? Oh, Jesus. Anyway. Yeah, so the fluorescence, that's really where I enjoy it. Like, it looks really sparkly on the table and like at arm's length and under, like certain light conditions, but you hit it with like, a black light or something. Oh man, it's cool. So if you ever seen my Instagram and you've seen how the models, like some of the other models I've completed, how it looks like they're glowing, that's how I'm doing it. I'm taking a picture with the black light on it so that the fluorescence just, pops. Heretic Scott, happy Saturday, monkeys. What I miss? Man, what didn't you miss? You got to be here early to catch all the good stuff, because then usually the show tapers off near the end. So yeah, it's kind of like the steep climb, and then all of a sudden just it's all downhill after the first 10 minutes. Raziel, but if High Flow is a good line in general, I'll probably check out more. There's a solid traditional artist store near enough to me that carries it. Yeah, I like Golden's paints. The High Flow is what I use on minis, but if you're gonna do other, well, I also have like the regular big bottles of Golden. Like you see the big bottles over there. They're big 4-ounce bottles. Those aren't the High Flow, but they go through airbrush just fine. I have not really noticed much of a difference between them and the High Flow. All I know is that the High Flow is marketed towards airbrush use, whereas the other ones, it's more or less like pouring art and stuff like that, and for markers, and I'm sure it's all the same recipe, I'm sure. But yeah, but I like them. I like the Golden paints. They're a lot of fun. Reziel, have you tried AK Extreme Metals line of paints? I'm planning to try that on my Necron soon. No, I've not tried Extreme Paints or Extreme Metals. I have not AK. Well, no, you know what? I don't know if I have any AK paints. No, I don't. I don't have any AK. MIG ammo I've used, and they're really good. They're very comparable to other good paint silvers. I mean, or metallics. I have a bunch of them. Yeah, I mean, I like Scale 75. The only one that scores pretty close to my bottom of the list is Citadel Metallics. But yeah, but I mean, like, if plenty of people like them, I mean, like another good one that I found is Mission Models Metallics. I've got their Cold Steel, and another one is something, but Mission Models, yeah, the metallics are really good, and they're water-based acrylics, and on top of a gloss primer, their metallics almost has a reflective quality to them. They're really good, so give those a try as well. I mean, there's so many paint brands out there. I mean, I think that's one of the things that I haven't quite understood yet. I mean, I'm still relatively new to this whole interneting thing. When people are asking about a list of paints that are used, like if you want to know what the paints used, and say, like in one of my videos, somebody had asked me for a list of paints. I said, well, just like I tell you what paints I use in the video. I don't understand. Like a list of paints in the beginning of the video. Okay, sure, but I mean, what is one of the major talking points that I talk about all the time regarding paints? What is it? Go ahead, tell me. Right? The paint doesn't make the artist. The paint isn't going to make you paint any better. Putting in the time and effort is going to make you a better painter and get the effects that you want. Learn and study and practice those techniques to accomplish those effects, right? Yes, some paints are going to achieve a different result, but if you're brand new to this hobby, I mean, like, it ain't really going to matter much. You're not going to really spot those differences. I don't know. It's just I'm really not that concerned. Like, for example, like Golden paints. I really like the paint line. You probably see them a lot in my videos, and I mean, I just use them because, like, for the price and how much paint you get, how much painting I do, I mean, it's good value. It's the only reason. I could just as easily be up here with cheap dollar store paints, showing you the paint, which yet I talk about, I still have yet to do. But anyway, but it's not the paints, and I don't know why people get kind of caught up in what paints. Just use whatever paints you have on hand, instead of acquiring a whole bunch of paints that are just going to be wasted. Like the amount of waste is what I don't understand. I don't understand how people are just so happy to just spend a bunch of money on a bunch of paints that they're never going to use or use once. That seems incredibly wasteful to me. It doesn't make sense. Durgo666 anime is pretty same anyway. Well, yeah, you get some that are pretty same. Yeah, I get the sentiment, but I mean, there are some differences. I mean, anyway. Keoma, I have a huge comic collection, and it's not one Marvel comic in it, and I collect comics for over 25 years. Started when I was 15. Cool. Farseer. Oh, this always pops up when I'm doing this shit. Where am I? Farseer. Yeah, X-Men is the only thing that I like from Marvel. Yeah. And they want to introduce X-Men, the mutants, into the MCU, the cinematic universe, right? And I think they'll probably do something like they did for the new Marvel game, the new Avengers game. If anybody's not familiar with this new Avengers game coming out, essentially, there's it's a piece of Avenger tech. It's some sort of bomb, and it goes off over a city, and everybody in the city goes through some sort of quantum flux or whatever, and they become mutated, and now everybody's displaying all these weird powers and stuff like that. And yeah, I think it might be some sort of shortcut like that they'll introduce the mutants somehow, something like that, just kind of right. But because essentially, then by that qualifier, wouldn't the Hulk be a mutant, right? Or maybe he is. Maybe technically the Hulk is a mutant. I don't know. Reziel, so awesome. Heretic Scott, the light off makes me think of you have not yet unlocked this character. Yeah, it's just a silhouette. Yeah. You haven't unlocked this character. John J. Once a monkey, always a monkey. Greetings. Good greetings, John J. Ebb and Flow. I'm a Marvel fan from way back. I'm still sitting on New Mutants number 98, and I bought it at a comic shop. Totally forgot that I had it until I organized some boxes a few years ago. Cool. Coma, the Chimera and AK Interactive 3-Gen acrylics is my favorites this month. May change fast. Yeah, see, your favorite this month. Again, Coma, I'm not telling you how to spend your money, but good God, man. I assume by the amount of painting you do, one of your goals is to really become a master of the paint, and you're well on your way there. But stop with all the paints. The paints are not going to improve your ability. The brushes are not going to improve your ability. But all the painting you're doing is definitely what's going to improve your abilities. Mastering the way a paint flows, when you break it down, increase it, mix it, how it looks, how it radiates, how it the light fastness, all these characteristics of paint. Learning and mastering the material, just whatever material you're using, that is more valuable to you than, oh, there's a brand new paint. Oh, there's a brand new paint. Oh, brush. Oh, this piece of equipment. Oh, palette. Oh, but all those things. Just sitting down and just doing what you're doing now. Just paint your minis. And of course, expanding upon your knowledge of technique, right? Layering, glazing, dry brushing, wet blending, feathering, all that stuff, right? Reziel, those AK Extreme metals are all enamels. Apparently needs a pretty aggressive thinner, but rivals things like Allclad. No, I've not checked those out. Allclad, I've only ever had one Allclad, and it was enamel based. It was kind of like Tester's enamel, which is kind of, enamels are enamels. Humbrol, they're enamels, and of course it's a different ball game. There is going to be a learning curve if you're used to water-based acrylics and then switching over to enamels, but you can get similar results. There was an artist who was doing a commission for Matt at Mini Wargaming, and I was impressed. He was wet blending with his enamels, and I swore he was using water-based acrylics, but all he does is he primes it, takes his enamels, and lays it on the surface and wet blends them together and does a couple layers, and he was done. And I was like, wow, that looks fantastic. Like, I would have thought that was much more time, but he described his whole process, and I wanted to see more of his work because I was impressed by his use of enamels. And yeah. Anyway, I think he's local too, or mostly local. But anyway, where the hell am I now? Coma. Depends on what I work on. The artist acrylics from Scale Color is awesome too. Yeah. I mean, there's lots of fantastic paints out there. Like, nobody out there, no company who's producing acrylic paint or miniature paints is going to say, these are mediocre paints, they're low pigment, you can pretty much put a pass on these. Right? Nobody's going to do that. They're all going to be pretty good, and everybody's going to want to put out a quality product because nobody's going to invest the time into their paint line and not give a damn about it. Right? I mean, so they're all going to try and do something that's hopefully different. Of course, paint lines who are just imitating other paint lines, well, that's kind of as a cheaper alternative by what, a couple pennies. Come on. Coma. I got some of the extreme metal paints, and they need a mineral spirit to thin. Yeah, because if they're enamels, yeah. Pathrip. AK3 Gen White Gray is just lovely, but the extreme metal is not acrylic, so it's quite nasty stuff to work, but the color is really good. Right, well, once you're busting into enamels, once you're leaving water-based acrylic paint lines, yeah, that's when you got to start taking other considerations and also other solvents that you're going to have to use, right? It's really not for brand new people who are, just getting into this hobby. Mind you though, when I was a kid, I started off on Tester's paints, enamels, and I was painting my little minis. When I started getting more into minis, I had a whole bunch of Tester's paints, and that's how I was painting my minis, was with Tester paints, and they looked awful. I was even using acrylics and enamels on the same surface, right beside each other. Yeah, that's how little I knew at the time. And I didn't have an internet to teach me. I had to learn the hard way a lot. Where the hell am I? Streamlabs, thank you for subscribing. Rat Matt Miniatures. Oh, I didn't hear an alert. Was that on Twitch? I didn't get an alert. Was there an alert? I didn't hear no monkeys. Was there a monkey? Oh, or was that on? Oh, that was on YouTube. Rat Matt Miniatures. Oh, I'm getting alerts for YouTube now. Okay. I don't know. I did a bunch of stuff. I did things, and now my accounts are all taken over. John J. Now you tell me I spent a legit over $1,000 putting together the perfect hobby space. Well, the need to do nesting and have your hobby space look the way you want and be efficient and all that, there's nothing wrong with that. That's just that nesting quality. It's the same reason why, your living room, your house, right? It all has a certain appeal to it and look to it because you filled it with what you want, what's going to make you happy, because it's your space, it's your environment. And, everybody who, wants their hobby space to be very efficient, neat, and, whatever, that's just an extension of that. And, no, there's nothing wrong with it. But yeah, but the idea that having all the paints from all the paint lines is ridiculous. It's unnecessary. It's wasteful. I mean, if you've got the resources to just chuck around like that, well, by all means. I'm not telling you how to spend your money. But the only reason, like, you know, I've said this many times, but the only reason I have a whack ton of paints is because people ask me about particular paints, and you know, I like to be able to offer firsthand information and my experiences with them. And because coming from, say, a miniature painting or a scale modeling perspective, I can offer, you know, different viewpoints with my experience, right? So it's just, you know, vast experience. and that's the only reason, you know, I think you guys tune in, because, you know, I mean, like, I've played around with a lot of stuff, different techniques, you know, this and that. I've been, you know, doing this for damn near 10 years, right? So, anywho. Mike Grimshaw, when it comes to painting, you must master your strokes like a fisherman masters bait. Rat Map Miniature. That's fun to say. Rat Map Miniatures. Never been a fan of enamels myself, but I've seen some fantastic results with them. Oh, yeah. I mean, it's not the paints, people. It's not the paint. It's not enamel paint. It's not acrylic paint. It's not water-based acrylic paint, right? Because those are the two different acrylics, right? There's regular acrylics and then there's water-based acrylics. Regular acrylics need thinners, right? Like alcohol, whatever, to thin it out. But anyway, or even latex-based paint, right? But anyway, it's not the paint. That's my point. It's not the paint. It's the artist behind the paint, because they took the time to master their material, and they became masters at that. And then once they started mastering the material, then they started mastering their technique. And then once they were mastering their technique, they were mastering color and their use of color. And then, right? And then they became a master. Owning a shit ton of paints is not going to make you a master. Owning a shit ton of brushes is not going to make you a master. Owning a shit ton of models. I mean, all these qualities make you a master hoarder. But yeah, I mean, if hoarding is your if what you want to master, well then, by all means. Again, who am I to tell you how to spend your money? Heretic Scott, I played around with enamel before. I like that it's very tough and you can buff it to shine. Yes, definitely, right? Because the beauty of enamels is you can lay it down and it's already your varnish already. I mean, you can still varnish it and protect it, but if you're just building to a display piece, I mean, like, it's already very durable paint on that surface already, right? So yeah. Ebb and Flow, I worked for a little while on a fishing boat as a bait man. The captain said I was pretty good. He said if I stuck with it, I could work my way up to master baiter. Harry, hey monkeys, and to head monkey, hope y'all good and healthy, guys. I hope you're healthy as well, Harry. Useless Wizard, I've not used any enamels. I'm not sure what benefits they would offer over acrylics. I can see the benefit of oils for blending. Right, but I mean, enamels, I mean, there are mediums you can add to enamels, and you can blend, and you can treat them. You can stop the drying process, because enamels typically dry pretty quick, and there's all sorts of mediums for enamels as well. All these paints, there's all sorts of auxiliary products as well to slow them down, speed them up, right? Thin them down, thicken them up. You know what I mean? Like, there's all sorts of mediums and auxiliary. But again, it's all about mastering the material. It's not about the product itself, right? But I will say that in the realm of enamels, the metallics are supreme. That's where enamels are superior paints in that regard, and pretty much only that regard, really, because the paints are just far better. The metallics are far better than water-based acrylics. Water-based acrylics It looks like glitter paint in comparison to enamel-based metallics. Even like solvent-based acrylics, like Tamiya, even enamels are better than those. I mean, I've never really done a side-by-side comparison, but enamels versus water-based acrylics or metallics are way better. Way better. Navy Kess, I'm going to have to rethink my business plan for my expensive but rubbish paints company. Rubbish paint, yeah. I just want to create rubbish paints. Exactly, right? Kuma, I like to have tried all the paints too. It's also nice to try different brands for different tasks. Yeah, but what is a different brand of metallic? Like, if two produce a similar value of silver, what is the difference? What is the gain? Right? What is the gain over, a mid-tone silver from Games Workshop and a mid-tone silver from Scale 75 from mid-tone scale metallic from Army Painter from, Cote d'Arms, name your brand. Right? What is the difference if they're all water-based acrylic metallics or paints, whatever? Well, what's the difference? What do you think you're going to learn from all that, other than really when you start breaking them down? Because applying them straight out of the bottle, they're going to be pretty much the same. It's only when you start breaking these paints down that you really, and once you're getting into more nuanced type painting, But again, with water-based acrylics, like whenever I thin them, I rarely ever thin them with water. I always thin them with medium, because when you thin them with water, especially when you push them past the point of the pigment in the binder, yeah, you see the binder, and then you see the metallic flakes, and they're separate, and you can see that just floating around like that, and they're separated, right? With water-based acrylics, and it's a pain in the ass. But if you use medium and you want to take that metallic paint and thin it way down to a really thin glaze, then yeah, you can do it with a medium, and it remains control, and it'll put on a nice thin layer of metallic. But again, it's water-based acrylic, so it looks like glitter paint, right? But anywho, where the hell am I? Mike Grimshaw, I only tune in every week to wait for your highly anticipated OnlyFans announcement. The painting advice is really just a bonus. Oh my god. The OnlyFans page? Okay, you know what? Bunch of dickheads. I'm going to make an OnlyFans page, and then you guys are all going to be like, oh my god. Oh my god. Please God, no, there is no God. There'll be a sharp rise in depression and people leaping from windows. Koma. It's the painter, not the paints. Right, that's my point, man. It's the painter, not the paints. And Koma, I mean, you're such a great artist and painter that I don't understand. Like, could you imagine? Okay, hold on, just stay with me here for a sec. Could you imagine where you'd be within your painting mastery? This is mastery, by the way. This is the pantomime for mastery. If you had just stuck with mastering a particular range of paints. I'm not saying a brand of paints. I'm just saying a range of paints. You pick colors here and there. You make color swatches, and you know what I mean. Like you mix Reaper paints and Army Painter and Citadel, and you can make like a whole swatch of colors. And you can just dive right into each one, rather than mixing each one. Right? I know there's a lot of artists out there who do that kind of thing, and that's the only reason I can really see branching off into other ranges is because there's a particular value of color that isn't available in a particular brand of paint, right? So like Citadel, there's only a few different colors, but there's other brands out there that fit between each of those little colors, so you can switch, so you can basically start off here, then there, then here, then here, and then, you know what I mean? But could you imagine where you'd be if you weren't meddling with a bunch of other paints and concentrated just on your mastery of technique and your use of color, rather than Oh, brand new paint. Oh, brand new paint. Oh, brand new paint. Ooh, brand new paint. This applies to a lot of people. I'm picking on Kim here, but because I mean, I see a tremendous amount of ability in Kim Coma, because Coma is posting all the time in the Discord. Like, I don't know how. Like, I would assume he doesn't sleep. I assume he doesn't sleep. I mean, But anyway, yeah. So that's just my point. Is could you imagine where you'd be if you didn't? If you were solely concerned on, especially if your goals with this hobby was to really kind of master it, right? If you didn't waste energy elsewhere that really didn't need to be done, but whatever makes you happy, of course. I mean, then do it. I mean, and keep going. I mean, to each their own, as it were, right? Useless wizard. That makes more sense. About the enamels, yeah, enamels, yeah. I mean, like when I'm talking up enamels, I mean, it's the metallics I mostly play with, because I like all my Necrons, right? Like all these guys, like this Spastics paint, it's enamel based, but it's a chrome. I mean, it's fantastic. Like, look how bright that is as the light plays off that surface, right? And it's like it's mirror. Like I can't see myself there, but it's a mirror chrome. Yes, there is another brand out there that does a better chrome, but it takes 24 hours to cure. So is it really that much better? As miniature painters, I pose that to you. Harry, Chris, so I've picked up Indominus box set and toying with the idea of white scars. So I'm not the best painter. So what would suggest to paint white? I like the contrast paints. Well, if you like the contrast paints, then get the contrast paints. If you're going to do white scars, well, I mean, like, you can save yourself a ton of heartache and effort. Just simply go out, okay? If we're spending money, right? Okay, and there's no reason not to stay within the realm of Citadel products. If you're going to paint white scars, well, Citadel makes that pretty easy for people, and especially newer people to the hobby, to get what they want. All you got to do is go out, buy. Do I have my spray cans here? No. Gray Sear. You just lay a nice even prime of Gray Sear on the models. Don't do it heavily. Learn how to prime your models properly. Take the time just to quickly research up. I have a video, I think, not too long ago, I produced about priming, and it was with spray cans. I was demonstrating how I typically spray can prime. You'll have to go back into Fresh Tips quite a bit, I think, but it's in there. Anywho, prime them Gray Sear. Get Apothecary White. Lay a somewhat generous amount down on the model, just so it goes into the nooks and crannies. If you have too much on any of the panels, quickly with a damp brush and draw that excess off that the big surfaces, right? Like on the bike, there's like the big faces on them. Don't apply it so heavily that you see big bloops of color on an area. Just so it's like a little line within the panel lines and stuff like that, right? And then you grab what is it? Praxetti White, the dry. Okay, do some quick research on doing a good dry brush. In many of my videos, I've demonstrated how to dry brush many times. You just remove a lot of the paint from the brush, and Citadel Dry makes it pretty damn easy to go through this whole process. Just dunk your dry brush in there. Use like the larger size dry brush with a very light hand. You just run that brush over the surface, catch those edges, and you're done. They have all those little water slide transfers. I've done many videos. I recently did a Fresh Tips on doing transfers. I think it was the Aeronautic Imperialis. I demonstrated how I typically apply transfers. You apply them, varnish the model, Bob's your uncle. It's pretty straightforward, and you'll get something that looks pretty darn close to the box art. Especially once you do the base, do the transfers, And if you're very careful picking out the eyeballs and the little piping and, putting metal in the guns and all that stuff, if you're very careful and take your time with that, don't be in a mad rush to get it done, right? Don't, I gotta hurry up and get it done, right? Take your time, But yeah, once you pass the priming phase, yeah. But if you want white scars or any bright color scheme, like Imperial Fists, Blood Angels, any of those really bright color schemes, prime the model in a light color. Either use the Gray Seer or use white. Do not prime it black, because you're going to have to lay a whole whack ton of paint down to build that color back up again. It's easier to go with a bright color and build down and build into the shadows, typically because that's why you want all that dark color, right? Unless, of course, your color scheme is really dark, like Black Templars or Ultramarines or, I don't know, some other dark color schemes. You know what I mean. Crimson Fist, you can do black. That's all I'm saying. So, yeah, don't be in a rush. And, so, as far as like a shopping list, if you have like 0 materials to get these models painted, Gray Seer, Apothecary White. Oh, you'll need some, if you're liking the contrast, right? Apothecary White contrast. I would go with, Flesh Tearers Red, the red color, for all the little red areas. And because it's a nice thin contrast color, you can, if you're feeling confident, you can do like the little zigzag patterns and stuff like that, and then you just fill them in really fast and you're done. Praxetti White to do the dry brush. You'll need a black, so Corvus Black now, I think, is the black. You'll need some of that. Or you could use Black Templar. Black Templar actually make it pretty easy for you, especially like on the pipes and the tires and stuff like that, where you want like a little bit of edging and highlight on them. Yeah, bang, you're done with those. And then the transfer sheets, which the box set comes with. And I'm pretty sure White Scars are on the transfer sheet. I don't have the transfer sheet on hand. But, yeah. It's pretty darn easy. I'm sure at some point I'll probably paint a White Scar Marine. I don't know if I'll do it that easily, that quickly. I don't know. Sometimes it's kind of like, I've painted how many Space Marines? I don't even know. And then there's so many other people painting Space Marines. And, you know what I mean? Like, Space Marines. That's why I've been having fun with the Necrons, because, I'm doing them all T800 like, right? So, and it's fun because I love Terminator, and Necrons are Terminator. Chroma, I like Chimera since it's only one pigment in each color. Going to watch the rest of the show tomorrow, and yes, I only need 4 hours of sleep a night. Yeah, man. Geez Louise, get some sleep. Rogelshawn. It's much more gratifying to learn and find your own methods than following something by the book. I think dipping your toes into other brands is okay, but not for the sake of having the newest magic pot. Correct. Yes, I agree. It's the same thing with the models, right? Shiny models. Ooh, shiny models. Ooh, shiny paint. Ooh, shiny brush. Ooh, And if you are a collector, a hoarder, essentially, then, by all means. And I'm not telling you how to spend your money. If you want to buy them, buy them. If it makes you happy, by all means, go ahead, buy them. If you've got the resources, by all means, carry on. But if also one of your things is that you really want to master, but you don't want to take the time, which, so many people want to be, I want to be a really great painter. Well, guess what? You have the resources to do it. All it takes is time. It takes time. There's nothing out there, not an airbrush, not a particular brand of paint, not a regular paintbrush, nothing. There's nothing out there that's going to make you a better painter other than repetition and time. Sitting down and painting. Which is why I'm so impressed with Kim. He's constantly pumping out models, And I'm sure if we really went back on some of the earlier stuff that he was posting from a year ago to today, I'll bet you there's a noticeable difference. But yeah, all it is time. There is no quick solution. And unfortunately, in this day and age, Everybody wants that quick solution, and it's not. And it's not here. It's not in this hobby. It wasn't built on it. It didn't exist when this hobby started, and it's still not part of the hobby. 3D printing will be there. 3D printing will be, oh, I want that model like this, and I can sit there and play with it on my app or my computer, pick all the colors, oh, I want this kind of shading, and blah, 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 and then print it out. That day is coming. That day is coming. It is coming. And it's rapidly approaching. It's like, even just what the printers can do today, I mean, like, I'm thoroughly impressed. You know, it's amazing, really. Like, I'm surprised, like, anybody who even really wants to get into the miniature hobby game now. Especially because every year, 3D printing makes another leap, right? Whereas the miniature hobby does not. What is the latest innovation in the technology as far as the miniature hobby itself? Right? Nothing. There's nothing. Other than most sculptors work in CAD now. Right? That's about it. Whereas, 3D technology, yeah, leaps and bounds. Leaps and bounds. Heretic Scott, Norwegians are generally pretty indestructible, so I imagine sleep isn't necessary. Oh, coma, yeah. Yeah. Harry, thank you, Chris. I just wanted to hear your take on this. I'm working on other projects. I thought this would be odd and yet cool chapter. Yeah, do it. Oh, by all means. I mean, like, I don't know how experienced you are, Harry, as far as your miniature painting is concerned. So that's why I kind of just laid it out as kind of, the easiest way to get, a whole bunch of them done, right? What I described there was pretty much, the fastest, kind of easiest, and I wasn't sure exactly what kind of skill level you were at. I mean, obviously, if you're a much more proficient painter, you're going to prime them how you want, and, but, the Apothecary White contrast, oh, that's fantastic. For doing the white scars, yeah, you just prime them gray sear, give them a very generous amount of Apothecary White, a quick little dry brush, a very, very minimal dry brush, I'm talking, just enough to catch those edges, and it's white scars. It almost looks like the box art. Like, you're like, that's, it is that easy. Now, are you going to be going out into, competitions and showing that off, going, haha, look at how well I paint? No, because anybody upon close examination can see that it was 2 steps. Or 3, I guess, including the primer. I usually don't include priming as part of the painting process, but I guess, yeah, it is. So it's priming, Apothecary White, dry brush, and that's it, right? To get that primary white color scheme going. Then, of course, you can add the chipped armor and stuff like that. And of course, I do have videos on creating the chipped armor and things. I've got a bunch of tutorials, amazingly enough, right? So yeah, I wasn't sure what your skill level is at, or what you consider your skill level at, but yeah, I mean, if you know a lot more tricks than what I was describing, obviously employ those. But yeah, it's easy. It's not hard. Ratmat Miniatures. Always be aware how quickly contrast paints dry too. They can be a pain, not a long working time if you want specific areas rather than a full area. Right. Well, yeah, when you're laying down the contrast, yeah, you should work in sections, especially on like the bikes. If you do like the front cowl, clean up any areas there, carefully move into another area. It's not as simple as just kind of slapping it onto the model. They describe it like that, and it's often described that way, but it's really not. You should be more deliberate and apply it into the areas that you want, because the nature of the paints, which they are a transparency. If you're not neat and you go in, because okay, here's one thing that you should be mindful of when painting with contrast paints is, if you're going to lay multiple contrast paints down on a model and you've primed it either race sear, white, or gray sear, start with your brighter colors first, building to darker colors. Because if you start with your darker colors and you hit into other areas and make a mess, like, if you're painting like a strap and it comes over into the armor, and then you go and you lay that you want it like a light color or even a mid-tone color, boom, you're going to see that darker color immediately show through. And you're and you have to clean it up, right? So you still have to be very deliberate. It's not as simple as just taking a big old brush, and smacking the crap out of your model. It's not that easy. You still have to be very deliberate and be careful where you're laying down colors. But yeah, that's one of the biggest things I would recommend, especially for people who are relatively new to contrast paints, is start with your lighter colors first and build to your darker colors. So if you're going to go with white scars, lay the white down first before going into your reds, and then be very careful when you're laying your colors down so that you're not picking them out. And so basically it should be like with white scars, it should be white, red, black, and your metals, because your metals are going to be opaque colors anyway, so they're going to sit on top of everything. And then of course being very careful, and if you want to lay some shade wash down on top of those metals to build them up, and all these different things. Anywho, Useless Wizard. Wait, are we talking about sculpting, production of minis, or the painting part? All the above. All the above. Yeah, they're like in the main part of the hobby itself, there has been like no innovation. I mean, am I wrong? I'm totally, I could be totally wrong, and I've just missed this innovation. Unlike 3D printing. 3D printing itself, the technology itself, will dominate our hobby 5-10 years from now. It will dominate our hobby. We'll all be just printing our models and not bothering painting them. If we want to get nostalgic, we'll paint one. But for all of us that game with our miniatures, yeah, we're just going to print our armies. That day is rapidly approaching. Every year, 3D printing makes another leap. Miniature painting in this hobby does not. It has not evolved. Other than everybody using CAD. Right? Useless Wizard. I can see that, but I don't think it'll replace entirely painting. No, of course not. Just like when the camera made an appearance. Everybody was like, oh, portrait painting, it's done. Painting is done. You can just take a picture and boom, and have it instantaneous, right? Exact same thing. You can make the exact same comparison between the two when this new technology just all of a sudden makes its appearance, right? So the camera, did it kill traditional painting? Kill it? No. Dealt it a serious blow? Yes. Was it a death blow? No. But painting definitely fell to the wayside. The value of painting definitely crashed as cameras became better and better every year, decade, whatever, right? When they started making more and more leaps in the technology, right? But yeah, so with 3D printing, will it kill this hobby? No, it'll become a new tool of the hobby. Will it kill miniature painting? Possibly. Will it be a death blow? Probably not, but it'll definitely be a serious blow, right? Will it replace painting? No, because people will still paint the miniatures, and even those that paint, print the miniatures, you still might want to put paint on them or change colors or add things, and you know what I mean. Like, of course, it all depends on how cheap and fast it is, right? I mean, like, if I was playing, D&D, and I got a new sword, I got a new shield, and I wanted to have it modeled on my character, well, I'd just probably print out a new character, right? Especially if it's really fast, and it's exactly the same color scheme, and you know what I mean? I could just bring it over and have a new model in like hours, right? An hour. Who knows? Who knows how fast it'll go? But yeah. Razio, I'm mostly interested in other paints because different products can behave differently, and I'm always on the lookout for new effects or mediums. Sure. But to what goal? To experiment with them? Or to enhance your painting? Right? Like, if your goal is to buy new paints all the time to gain the experience, then, okay, well, what are you doing with that experience? Right? Just to build up a body of knowledge? and keep it to yourself? Or are you going to share that, right? Or is your goal to paint your miniatures, to buy the materials so that you can achieve a particular result because, I don't know, like one paint over another, and you know what I mean? Like you hear this a lot, these comparisons, right? Like Vallejo, far superior to Citadel. Well, to the layman, not really. The only time you really start to spot these differences is when you start getting into more nuanced painting, i.e. blends, using other mediums, glazing, right? When you're breaking the paint down, that's a big one I've noticed, is when you're breaking the paint down and into a glaze, yeah, that's when you really start to spot the differences between paints. But if you're brand new to this hobby, the two brands are very similar. The person's not going to be able to tell them apart. It's not until you start getting into the nuanced stuff that you're going to start to appreciate, especially with brushes, right? Which is why I'm always poo-pooing synthetic brushes, but I mean, it's because a lot of times I'm doing a lot more nuanced type of painting, you know, and I don't like the way most synthetics, until they actually make a synthetic that can behave just like a natural hair, then I'm on board with synthetics. But we're not at that point yet. Not that I know of. Harry, yes, I'm dreading the bikes with the contrast paints, but that's going to take the time and learn. Yes, definitely. Take your time. Yeah. I mean, even though you might be dreading it, you shouldn't dread it. You should be looking forward to it. It should be exciting because you're going to learn something. Because you're going to learn how that contrast flows on broader surfaces. And how I described it, where it laid down not too heavily, but enough to fall into the recesses, but any flat areas where you see it kind of gathering, quickly wipe it away. Be fast. Don't hit the whole model. Work in sections, right? That's the biggest bit of advice I can give you right there as far as, you know, playing with those colors. Rat Mat Miniatures, good luck, Harry, with those white scars, though. Yes, and good luck, Harry. Yes, definitely. Thank you, Rat Mat. Useless Wizard. Oh, no, I already read that comment. Rezio, oh damn, I just realized if I use AK Enamel Chrome, the GW acrylic gold, like Retributed Gold, will probably look like crap. Any recommendations on good gold enamels? You know, Allclad has gold. Spastics has gold. Testers probably has a nice gold. Give them a try. I mean, Allclad. Yeah. Or lay the chrome down and use a sepia with a yellow. Mix them together. And you can probably get a nice gold that way too. Use a sepia. Thin it out. Lay it on top of the chrome. It's another one. Rezio, I was a major cynic when it came to contrast paints. Still not the biggest proponent, but I have found solid technical uses for several of the colors. Right. The inability to use a paint is only a lack of imagination on your part. It's not the paint's problem. And so being a cynic of a particular brand of paint, it doesn't make any sense to me either. When people were shitting on contrast paints, that made no sense to me. All that shows is a lack of understanding and a lack of imagination, because they're just paints. And contrasts technically are really not that new. Because even before that, I was demonstrating to people how you can make a shade wash out of any color you want, transparencies or opaques. And that was before Citadel Contrast came out. Useless Wizard. I think there'll be a rift in the community for at least a little between players with painted minis and a player with 3D printed colors. There's so much gatekeeping in the nerd world that'll be prevalent for a while. Sure. Yeah, I would agree with that. It's a stupid reason, but as 3D printers become cheaper and better, it'll be the norm. 15 years from now, I'm willing to bet 15 years from now, yeah. What it will definitely hurt is things like painting competitions, because nobody will be painting, right? And honestly, I mean, with painting competitions, I mean, like I've talked about painting competitions in the past, and I think pretty much a lot of you know what my stance on painting competitions. But anyhow, Yuri Rova. Hi everyone. Hi Yuri. What time we at? 1:26. Really? Have I been ranting on this long already? Ratmat Miniatures. For me, the contrasts are another arrow in my quiver. Ha ha ha. I was quite a cynic too when they first dropped, but like you've found a new technical uses at Resident. Yeah. I mean, again, as you find new uses, that's your imagination catching up, right? Those possibilities, like when I first got my hands on the contrast paints, oh yeah, a whole world of possibilities opened up, and again, like if for me, I probably would not have shut up even more about contrast because I was a very loud advocate of contrast paints. They would have been the end all be all of paints for me in my own idea of the paints. If they finished with a gloss, if they'd have finished with a gloss, these would be the ultimate paints for the most part. Yeah, but they don't finish with a gloss. But anyway. Mike Grimshaw. I remember reading an interview old enough that I believe it was with the old head of GW, and they asked him about 3D printers. Back then, they were in their infancy, and he wasn't worried. Sure, right. And I mean, like, even right now, is GW worried? I have no idea. And worried? I don't know if worried is the right word, because I think if they're smart, they will catch that wave and ride the wave into the future. If they want to stay a profitable company, they'll most likely change their ways. Which the new Games Workshop, when I say new, I mean like in the last 5-6 years, they've changed their ways, and they'll ride the wave of technology, and they'll innovate and evolve, as will everybody else. If Games Workshop starts pushing 3D printers and they put out their own brand of 3D printer for, that's all they got to do is sell a Games Workshop 3D printer that already comes with all the files of whatever miniatures you want, and it's probably going to be like a goddamn subscription service that either you buy the 3D printer that's going to print off the models for your army, or you buy the all-in-one or the deluxe all-in-one that prints off 40K, Age of Sigmar and Necromunda and, Aeronautica and, all the other, it has the entire library within this 3D printer, right? If they're smart, that's what they'll do. They'll start their own brand of 3D printers that can print, models that look right out of the magazine, right? Like if you look carefully at the early release pictures of miniatures that they've been showing, like they do the close-ups, you can see the 3D print lines. It's a 3D printed either master. Well, it's a 3D print because they often go off to get CAD'd, and those styrene plastic molds are the injection molds are aluminum, and they just CAD into aluminum, and that's how they make the styrene plastic. But the masters, if you look at some of the masters on this website, you could see the 3D print lines that obviously they painted on top of, right? But yeah. Mike Grimshaw, but he implied that when they did become a threat, GW would be selling you a printer. Oh yeah, you already said that. Yeah, I agree, Mike. I agree. John J. Chris, what's your recommendation on the first, let's say, 5 techniques the beginner should learn? Well, the first techniques. Okay. As a beginner, the first 3 things a beginner should be concerned with, right? What is Chris's 3 fundamentals? What are the fundamentals? Okay, it's question and answer time, kids. What's Chris's 3 fundamentals? I even forgot. Assembly, priming, base coating. right? Learning to assemble your models properly, cleaning them, filling gaps, knocking down mold lines, and assembling them properly with the proper glues and things of that. Okay, so you're building, proper models. Now, typically, if you're mostly GWs, that is, using styrene plastic and using the appropriate glue on styrene plastic, not using CA glue. Don't use CA glue. That's ridiculous. But if you're using resins or pewters, if you're into privateer press and other than that, then, you can use CA glues. And, of course, you should also learn about pinning and things of that nature, right? So there are other techniques involved in the assembly phase, but mastering the assembly phase, drilling out gun barrels, because a lot of people, that does matter, drilling out the gun barrels, because I personally get annoyed when I'm looking at a well-painted model and the gun barrels aren't drilled. That's annoying. It takes me right out of the experience. But also, cleaning the mold lines properly, right? Takes the viewer out of the experience. So, assembly, priming, learning to prime your model properly, right? Now, when we're talking about, if my color scheme is going to be bright, then I better prime it white, right? So, using the proper primer for your color scheme is important. Not over priming your models, right? Not obscuring details, laying too much primer down, being cautious when using color primers, because oftentimes the tendency is to over prime, right? Because over priming can change the nature of the model surface and the nature in which your paints will flow on that surface. That's why you should watch out for over priming. Under priming is fine. Even if a bit of that plastic, metal, or resin is showing through, that's fine. For the most part. I mean, if it's pretty, you can still see like a great deal of shine from a pewter model, then you might want to lay another quick little layer down on it. But yeah, priming. Base coating. Okay, base coating, very important. Okay, why is base coating important? Well, because learning how to lay down a nice smooth base coat without leaving too many brush strokes behind is paramount. And once you really master that, then getting into layered highlights, glazing, and all these things, all of a sudden those things, when you see people talking about it, on how they're talking about the nuance of painting, all of a sudden that starts to make sense, because you understand how to, when you're breaking down your paint and thinning it down, and you're not leaving any brushstrokes behind, using obviously a latticing effect, those all make sense. So the 3 fundamentals first for a beginner, because laying down a nice smooth base coat. Also, when you're laying down a smooth base coat and you're being very deliberate. So, for example, we're painting a Blood Angel Space Marine. I don't know, we always jump to the Space Marine example because it's the most common freaking thing. But anyway, we're painting a Blood Angel. And we've got red paint, we got black paint, we got silver paint, right? We're gonna paint the different areas. Oh, we got a little bit of green for the eyeballs, right? We're being very deliberate, laying a nice smooth, even coverage, not getting chunky paint or anything like that, not leaving big chunks of brush strokes or anything like that. We're laying nice, smooth, even coverage. How do we do that? Because we assembled the model properly. We did not over prime the model surface, and of course we're learning how to thin our paints and apply them in a nice, smooth, controlled fashion into the areas deliberately. And then of course, once you have really started to get a good foothold on laying a base coat, then that's when you can bust out the shade washes and start layering your highlights, or edge highlighting, or dry brushing, or whatever, right? And of course, when you're getting into dry brushing, if you don't know how to lay down a nice smooth base coat, when you start dry brushing a surface, it picks up all those brush strokes, right? Because dry brushing is moving the brush across the model surface, catching all the high points, right? So imagine these are all dips and valleys on a model surface, and the dry brush hits all these tops. Well, whenever you see really chalky dry brushing on a model, it's because the model's base coat and the underpainting is all very lumpy looking, right? It's a rough texture. You want to lay down as smooth a base coat as possible, because if you're going to dry brush, it lays it down nice and smooth in an even coverage. Does that make sense? Who asked that? John J. Yeah, so, and then of course, after the fundamentals, for the 5 techniques, learn them all. I mean, like I said, once you are into the fundamentals and you're laying down a nice smooth base coat, then, like I said, that opens up your brain to, controlling the paint and, layering and glazing And then, of course, controlling the paint, you're understanding how you're dry brushing. And then, of course, because you're working with the paint in very thin out consistencies, you begin to see how, maybe you can start to wet blend and two brush blend, or, feathering the paint. And all these things start to become apparent when you start laying down a smooth base coat, when you learn and master how to lay a smooth base coat down on a model surface. But it also takes the assembly and the priming. Again, it's those fundamentals, those three fundamentals. That's it. Rezio. Well, to be fair, on the hate for contrast, I was primarily unhappy with GW's marketing and not the paint itself. Okay. Black Templar is very useful. Yes, it is. Well, all the paints are very useful. I've used them all numerous times. Rat Matte Miniature Snakebite Leather is another great one too. Oh, I love Snakebite Leather. Oh, yeah. It's a fantastic color. It's for doing like straps and stuff like that. Like one coat, bang, done. Like, for tabletop, I mean, like what contrasts are really great for tabletop. Using contrast to build upon effects and really kind of develop, and you start using them in a glazing capacity and changing values or resaturating values and stuff like that. But again, it's just another tool. And it's your lack of imagination that limits what you can do with it. Raziel, Chris, can you elaborate on why contrast would be perfect if it's finished as a gloss? I'm pretty happy with it being matte myself. Why? Raziel, you've been tuned into me for so long, and I mean, you don't know why I want it to finish with a gloss? Have you not been listening to me? Contrast to finish with a gloss because it'll sit on top of metallics better. You ever put contrast on top of a metallic? It completely kills the metallic luster. And I'm all about the metallic luster, right? You put a matte on top of a metallic, it looks like brushed steel rather than a nice shiny steel. Now, if that's the look you're looking for, then great. But with contrast on top and colored contrast, right, it kills it and it looks like a brushed steel, and it loses all the metallic finish. Gloss retains. That's why all the clear colors, like transparencies and stuff, they all finish with a glossy look, right? Because they're perfectly transparent, and most of the contrasts are perfectly transparent. And you should be able to do that, and they don't finish that way. And with metallics, you should be able to do it. Old Man Logan, begin rant. Yeah, here we go. So, contrast, yes. And I mentioned this when I was invited to have a first look at contrast, and I mentioned it to Buddy who makes the paints. I said, like, these things really should finish with a gloss because, people are going to want to put this on top of metallics, and it's not going to look really great. Now, because if they finish with a gloss, then you can leave it glossy, great, and it looks fantastic, and it's going to look fabulous. But if you don't want it to finish like that, and you want it to finish like kind of like a brushed steel kind of look, you can always hit it with Lamy and medium, and knock the shine out. Adding a gloss on top of it, it doesn't bring back that same level of clarity, because it already finishes with that matte, and that's it. Rogulshan, welcome to Warhammer TV. Today we'll show you how to 3D print your Primaris Marines with the new Citadel Mel Manufactorum printer. Beep. Yeah, I guaranteed. I say 10 years. Within 10 years. Yeah. If GW is evolving and changing, yeah, they'll start producing their own brand of 3D printer. Their own. It'll look like shit. It'll look like a Manufactorum device, and it'll be a little servo skull moving around, printing off whatever. Just slap your bits and bobs on it, right? Whatever it is, 3D printer prints out all your models, and it'll have all the files on there. Hell, it could be one device, and all you do is your subscription, and it unlocks whatever miniature. And of course, you can create your own color scheme within an app. Oh yeah, I like this. Send to printer, bang, prints it up, bang, got them. Oh, I want 10 of them. 10, print them up. Right? Oh, I'm sure. That day will come. I'm sure. If GW wants to stay profitable. Because I'm seeing so much great 3D printing from the printers. And they already are starting to come out with painted printed prints. Painted printed prints? And so, yeah. It's fast approaching. Rogashan, and there you have it, your 3D printed squad ready to take down any of the new Eldar aspect warriors. Yeah, I might not get new Eldar until GW starts putting out 3D printers. Rat Matte Miniatures. Don't GW do contrast that is gloss specific for use over metallics? I can't remember. No. Well, I mean, the new... Where is it? The new Cryptek Armor Shade. This is a gloss. This finishes with a gloss. But this color is not... no, because I did just the tip on this, just quickly showing the color swatches and just, showing how this looks laid out, like on a paper. And it's not exactly the same. It might match one of the other colors, but I haven't found it. But yes, it does finish gloss, and yeah, that's what I've been doing these Necrons. Like, that's how I'm getting this brown on them. I don't have the Warlord here, or the Overlord. Yeah, I did a lot of his armor in the brown, or the Cryptek, whatever the frick. But it finishes with gloss and sits on top, and that's why I used it on top of chrome, because that's what you want. I wouldn't use regular contrast on top of a chrome metal like I've done, because it'll completely kill that metallic finish. And then even if I gloss on top of it, it won't bring it back. I've done it too many times, and I've failed at it too many times to know that that's the case. So yeah. Dark Commission, would adding a thin gloss medium kill the attributes of the contrast paints? Adding the gloss? No, because you're just going to end up fighting with the paint. See, like, okay, rather than fight with the tool to work how you want it to work, why not just get the tool that does what you want, right? Contrast paints are really great. They're fantastic colors. But if I want a transparent color on top of metallic, then I don't use contrast, because I know the properties with it. I don't struggle with it. I just go get the colors that I know will work on top of these things and achieve the effect that I want. Right? Rather than trying to, keyhole a particular product into something that it's not designed for. It's like taking a square peg, trying to put it in a round hole. That's futile. That's futile, and it's a waste of energy. It's a waste of energy. Right? Again, if you have an abundant amount of time, which these days a lot of us apparently have, but nobody seems to get anything done. But anyway, yeah, I mean, it's knowing the strengths. Now, if you want to try it yourself, by all means. But adding more gloss to the paint itself so that it finishes glossy reduces the saturation of the paint. So that means you have to lay more layers down, which means you're going to have a heavy layer of paint on that area. That's no good. And also, because it's thinned out so much, you're having to apply more and more layers, which means that to do it properly, you're going to have to wait between layers to dry, which means more paint used, more mediums used, more time wasted, more paint wasted. What's the point? It's terribly inefficient. It's not efficient. Be more efficient. Rat Matte Miniatures. I may have been thinking of the technical line, like the Spirit Stone. My bad. Now the technicals, yeah. Now those are fun little paints, and those were marketed for doing obviously like the gemstones, and they do that very, very well. And those paints compared to contrasts, they're like the rest of the Citadel paints. They're very heavy-bodied paints. There's a lot of medium. They're very thick and goopy, as opposed to contrast. Contrast flows very, very thin. Not as thin, but pretty damn near the shade washes. Contrast is that thin, right? It flows like that. It flows like the shade washes. If you're used to using the shade washes, then contrasts are the same thing, but much more pigment involved. They're very rich in color. So, yeah. What time? Holy Carmelis. You know what? Let's try and end the show on a normal time. Let's do an email because we can and we shall and we will. And so I'm sorry, I gotta look around. I gotta figure out a better place for my mic. If you're wearing headphones, turn them up or down. But here it comes. Email time. Yeah, email time. This one is from our good buddy Heathen Cross. I've been semi-lurking for a while and figure I should bite the bullet and submit some pics of my most recently finished mini, Black Widow, Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. for Marvel Crisis Protocol. I consider myself an adequate painter and believe I do decent enough for tabletop quality. I am colorblind, so sometimes have trouble with colors, but still seem to do alright. Any advice would be appreciated. Thanks, Mike Grimshaw, aka Mike Grimshaw, aka Mike Grimshaw, aka Mike Grimshaw. What? Aka Heathen Cross. Mike Grimshaw, aka Mike Grimshaw. That's confusing. So here is Black Widow, and it looks really good. Paint looks like it's where it should be. The uniform's black. I see red details. It's very clean. The base looks good. You know. Overall, I mean, like if your goal was just tabletop, then it's very good. I think laying the highlights down on some of the areas, like the dry brushing, could have been a little lighter. You could have been maybe a little bit more deliberate, just to preserve that black suit she's supposed to be wearing. I think the leather holsters and stuff like that, I don't know if they'd be red. I think I would have probably went with a brown, like a leathering, or just done in black. Just had her mostly in black. Overall, though, I mean, like, it's really good. And like I was saying before, like, if you're relatively new, I really wouldn't be that worried about, trying to lay highlights and stuff like that down. Just start by cleaning the model off properly. Laying down a smooth base coat, right? Not over priming the model. Did you freehand the Widow symbol on her chest? Did you do that? Or is that sculpted? I can't tell. If that's freehand, that's pretty good. If it's sculpted, that's still pretty good because, you got to get into those tiny little nooks and crannies. I'm just a little bit curious as to what the big bands of white are on the forearms. Is that supposed to be like shine, like you're doing a non-metallic metal on her van braces? Is that what that is? I would forego those kind of things in the future until you develop a much better mastery of working in glazes and thinning the colors way down. I would simply just leave it black or do it in a dark metallic or things of that nature. But I mean, for tabletop quality, I mean, this is good. Don't get me wrong. But yeah, is that what that is? Is that an attempt at non-metallic metallists? Are you still here, Heathen? Oh, we haven't had any new comments. Okay, so yeah, I like the model. I mean, as far as being tabletop, yeah, it's tabletop. I think that's what you were going for, right? Is a non-metallic metal on those forearms. I don't know if I'd have went for it. I mean, bravo for giving it a try. But you still need a little ways to go as far as thinning your colors down and maintaining control. And in some areas it looks like the paint might be a little heavy, or it might be just the way the dry brush is sitting on the surface. Especially with how small this model is, I probably would have just laid the highlights down, just taken my time and just put a few highlights down, just at key areas. But again, with tabletop, I mean, like, you know, you're not doing it for display. But, you know, ultimately, I think your goal is to get better at painting. So, you know, hopefully that helps. You know, just keep going. Just keep going. Oh, there it is. Okay. Old Man Logan. Looks good. Would like to see a bit more light in front of the photo so I could see it better. Well, yeah. I mean, yeah, I know. Usually myself, sometimes, you know, immediately when people post pictures, which I try not to be too harsh on, is like how it's taken, the picture was taken. But yeah, I wasn't too concerned with that. I was just looking at, you know, the model itself. But yeah. Mike Grimshaw, the symbol is sculpted onto the model. Oh, okay, yeah, that's good. Sorry, I had to pause the live feed for a second. The shine on the gauntlets is actually Stormhost Silver. I think the highlights in the light box were too bright. Oh, really? Okay, I gotta have another look at this. That's Stormhost Silver? Really? Yeah, I guess that is a little bit bright then. Huh. Yeah, I guess it just gets blown out, right? Because I can kind of see it on the pistols, because I assume the silver on the pistols, because I can see the reflective glow of the green background on the pistols. But I didn't see any reflections. Okay. Huh. Alright, sorry I missed that, yeah. But either way, yeah, like, and I can kind of see, like, you are working with the color in a thinned out consistency, but you are, you know, I think you're over thinning. For example, here, let's go back here, Mike. Oops, let me go. There we go. And can I zoom in? Can we zoom in? We can zoom in. Sweet. Okay, so I can see from this. I didn't know that was silver on the forums, but I can see you're thinning down your colors, which is good. But you see how you're getting those tide marks along, I see it's like a ring around the highlight on her bicep and shoulder. Okay. If you've noticed that and seen that, that like that ring you're getting, that's referred to as a tide mark. Now, typically that's because you've thinned the color way down. You have added too much water to the paint. Adding medium to the paint to get it that thin, and how you would perceive it as working on your palette, and hopefully you are working from a palette. To avoid that, you could use a thinner like Lahmian Medium if you're using Citadel paints. I don't know which paints you're using, but if they offer a acrylic thinner, I definitely would recommend picking one up if you're not already using or already had one. And you'll avoid that for the most part. But yeah, that tide marking there, I think to avoid that in the future some more would be to take a bit of the black and mix it in and provide an initial layer first before using that color to provide that brightness of a highlight, if that makes sense. Hopefully that makes sense. Gotta put my chat up here. Yeah, the silver on the pistols is also Stormhost. Yeah, I can see silver on the pistols because that green of your backdrop, I can see it reflecting in the metal. But I thought it was white on those van braces. It's probably, yeah, because it's really bright light. Mike, you are a Patreon supporter, right? I am putting together a video. I'm just right now constructing it right now because it's actually quite a few points I want to go over, but I'm going to put together a mostly complete guide for photographing models. So be on the be on the watch out for that. Reziel, Chris always gets so frustrated with me, lol. But I legitimately needed that gloss info. Makes sense and isn't difficult, but I didn't remember it. I've talked about it many times. I know, Reziel. I know. But, I mean, since, even if you go back to my early talks about contrast paints when it first came out, yeah, you'll hear me go on that very same rant. So, yeah. Mike, I am currently using mostly Citadel and a wet palette. Okay. So the wet palette, that's good that you're using a wet palette. That means you're getting more life out of your colors. Realistically, when using your wet palette, there's two goals that you end up accomplishing using a wet palette. Well, three. Using a palette, a place to work and work with your color. One, hydrating your paint so it goes further, it lasts longer. You get more mileage out of each drop of paint. And of course, when you're doing color mixtures, it lasts longer. You're getting more mileage out of your paint. So those are the big advantages of using a wet palette. But just using a straight up palette to begin with, everybody out there right now, if you're still painting straight from the bottle, smack yourself right in the face right now. If you're still painting straight from the bottle, smack yourself, because if I was standing right next to you, I would smack you right now. I would. Yes, we're getting violent. This is violence now. I'm advocating violence of smacking you in the face, just so that you'll learn, because apparently you were brought up wrong. It's awful, I know. So anyway, but yeah, you definitely should be working from a palette, and a wet palette. There are great advantages with working with a wet palette. Do you always need to work with a wet palette? I mean, in all my videos, I'm not working from a wet palette, and the amount of waste of paint is negligible. But I mean, for me, this is a business, so as opposed to you as a hobbyist, But I mean, if you're the kind of person who's buying a shit ton of paint and is just sitting on your shelves, don't complain to me about wasted paint. First and foremost, don't complain to me about it, because I won't care. It'll be one ear out the other. Mike Grimshaw, yeah, I'm on Patreon. Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah, because Heathen Cross, I'm pretty sure I've seen Heathen Cross. Yeah, so keep an eye out, Mike, and everybody, of course, on Patreon. It'll probably stay a patron-only video, so yeah. But yeah, I'm gonna go over a lot of things in the video. It'll probably be a pretty lengthy video. I don't know if it'll be a 4K tutorial, just because that's a lot of 4K footage to go through. But yeah, I would like to make it a 4K video, but 4K videos, man, they're basically double the size, editing and posting. But they're fun. I like making them. But yeah, they're also they're taxing on my system. But anyway, Old Man Logan, you mean you don't take copious notes during Chris's streams like the rest of us, Raziel? Yeah. Everybody should have their, come on. I mean, we take attendance in the beginning. This is a damn class, isn't it? This is a class. You're supposed to be paying attention here. Come on, pay attention. Finlay Robinson, hi Chris. Hi. Hopefully you're just tuning in so you can hear me berate everybody. It's supposed to be all nice and positive and helping everybody, inspiring. But you know what also builds good habits? A little healthy dose of fear. Dicey guy, yo. Dicey guy or dicey guy, Gui. Gumai. Does anybody watch that stupid channel? Run for the Cube? Gumai. Anyway, I'm laughing at my own stupid shit. Oh, man. This next one is from our good buddy, Keoma, or Kim. Hello, as I sent one email just to fill up the show a bit. Well, it's already 2 hours. I already filled up my show by ranting and berating everybody. I did the decals on all the Aeronautica Imperialis stuff. Oh, cool. I don't know if I've seen those. And the Night Tyrant for my Chaos Knights army are not totally done yet. But here it goes. Yes, so here, this first one here is this little model I was talking about earlier in the show, about he was painting a fur texture on the model. And it looks great. Now, like I said, like this is Keoma's painting here. And obviously, for a lot of you guys are going to be going, holy kermoles, tremendous amount of talent. And you're absolutely right. But I can see Kim can take it further. Some of you are probably going, Chris, you're cracked. But no, he can go further and push this and become far, far better. But yeah, we were talking about the texture on the face. Oh, I love the little highlights on the nose. I didn't notice those. Looks like he's got a teardrop coming from his eye too. Is that deliberate? Or is that an artifact on the model? I don't know. The blood's pretty gruesome. That's gruesome. It's gruesome. Haha, he's got a little bum. Yeah, this is a pretty darn cool looking model. That's 54 mil. It's not a big model. It's not that Kim has small hands. It's Kim that actually got big paws on him. But no, this is a 54 mil model. But yeah, I like the texture on the face. That's a win. I mean, I know initially you weren't excited about, creating that texture on there, but I mean, your results, I think it pays off in the end, right? It pays off in the end. Oh, look at that. That's cool. It's an Imperial Knight. I mean, I'm not that fired up about it. It's an Imperial Knight, Bleh. Now, if it's an Eldar, well then, you'll hear more gushing from me. Gushing. Anyway. Oh, I like the weathering. Yeah, I like that. Yeah. It has like kind of the old Soviet tank kind of, rusting going on. I think some of the runs you could have had a couple coming from the emblem on the center. I think also chip paint, like the chipped edges and stuff. You could have also went with some of that as well. Nice freehanding of the chaos symbol, really good. Yeah, I like that. The freehanding, very nice. I like all the little symbols everywhere. Adds to the theme. I like the overall color of the green. How it goes from like this deep turquoise almost to a yellowy green, and then the brown pulls it out with all the wear. I like it. It definitely gives it a very gungy, gross kind of value. It's very nice. Yeah, I think just a little bit of chipped paint and stuff like that would have been aces. But I mean, it doesn't need it, but it would be cool if it was something you considered. Yeah, it's really nice work. Ooh, this guy. Yeah, nice work on the claw fist. Not the big clawy hand, but yeah, that big spike arm thing. I don't know what the hell it's called. Are you doing a bit of OSL on that eye? Is that what's going on there? Is that OSL? Yeah, that's OSL. Very nice. Oh, look at that. I like your work on that little tongue. Oh, and the highlights on the face. See, like, it's this kind of crap, Kim, that I don't understand why you're we're not going over the entirety of all the model like this. But I kind of get it, but I don't. But yeah, because it's exhausting. I know. I realize it's exhausting going to that same level all over the model, but it looks so awesome when you're really kind of examining it, right? All this Aeronautica. And you put all the transfers on. Oh, yeah, nice work on the wingies. Yeah, I haven't thrown the transfers on my Tau flyers yet. I really wasn't sure where I wanted them. I like the big long ones down the wings of the Tiger Sharks. I like those. I'm not sure about those little hexagonals though. I mean, it looks fine on yours, but like, yeah, I'm not 100% sure on it for me. Yeah, like I see the little hexagonal on the wing. I'm kind of like, I saw that on the decal sheet, and I was kind of, where the hell did I put that? Like, what the hell am I going to do with this? I don't know why they threw that in there. You don't see that motif anywhere on Tau, anywhere. And I think some of these striped ones, these kind of bands, the white bands, personally, I think myself, I probably would cut the angle in which I'm going to apply it onto the model. Or just wrap it over, and I don't know. Here's the Space Marines. We've looked at Kim's Space Marines before. He's taken to the advice that I had mentioned in the previous show when we were talking about his models, where his upper half of the Marine, the highlights were kind of further back, as opposed to on the front end of the models. They were, kind of directly above, and it was kind of this mismatched, type of highlighting going on. And so I'm glad that he's taken that little bit of advice, and yeah, the Marines look great. Oh, I thought that Way the Brush sticker on it was on the buddy's base with all the blood splatter. I was gonna say, man, that's twisted. that was twisted, man. That's twisted. But anyway, he's got his little Way the Brush stickers on his thingy-mabobber. That's awesome, Kim. Thank you for sending that in. Awesome work. Yeah, I was watching a lot of these. The Imperialis stuff I didn't notice, but yeah, I'd seen a lot of these on Discord, and a lot of people, a lot of the monkeys share on Discord. So feel free to join us on Discord. It's a lot of fun. Yeah, if you want some help, need some advice, or just want to show off what you're working on, feel free. The only thing is that I recommend if you're joining us on the Discord is, the only rule is to be cool. Be cool. Don't be a jerk. Don't be a jerk. Be an ass. Well, you can be an ass, but don't be a jerk. Robert Finlay. I'm painting some new Carnival miniatures for work. How do you go about doing gingerfolk? Gingerfolk? Like red hair? I have a tutorial on red hair. Robert Finlay? Is it Robert? No, Robert Finlay Robertson. I thought it was Robert Finlay. Who the hell's Robert Finlay? Anyway. What was I talking about? Gingerfolk. I have a tutorial on doing red hair. Now, as far as painting the light skin, well, there's a lot of tutorials, I think, on painting light skin. It's pretty common, I think. Although, mind you, though, like, really, like, if we're talking about the same thing, I don't know if we're talking about the same thing. Gingerfolk. I'm assuming we're talking about red-haired people. But I do have a tutorial on painting red hair. If you go back, I don't know, a page, I think, in Fresh Tips, and yeah, you can check that out. I did a whole thing on hair. I did black hair, blonde hair, platinum blonde hair, and red hair, and brown hair. I think it was like 5 or 6 videos I did on hair, real fast. Just a very efficient way of getting it done. Nothing too crazy, you know. I mean, like, you can push the effects as far as you want, right? I mean, building up your transition and stuff, that's entirely up to you. I'm just kind of giving you guys kind of, you know, here's a fast way of getting something that looks like you spent some time on it, but didn't. Old Man Logan, episode 3. Oh shit, we didn't even name the episode, did we? Did we? No, we didn't. Holy crap, I don't have a name for this episode. What's the name of this episode? Oh, I guess I could just pay attention and read people's comments here. Old Man Logan, episode 309. You are wasteful and were not raised right. Nitfink, episode 305. Episode 305. Building good habits through fear. This is episode 309. So Nitfink, get a ruler, whack yourself across the knuckles, because it's episode 309. You weren't paying attention. She's like, what, you ass? No, mister. Ow! Dark Commission, really nice painting. Yes, really nice painting. Well, I mean, Dark Commission, I don't know how... Well, I mean, you're on Discord with us. Yeah, Kim posts a lot. Like I said, I don't know how the guy does it. He's got a family, he's got a life, and, painting all day long. I don't know, like, it must be driving in his car, painting while driving. Is that legal in Norway? I don't know, but, yeah. Ratman Miniatures, Fandabby Dozy, loving those. Fandabby Dozy. Wow. You just typed that out just to hear me say it, right? John J. Episode 309, Fear the Mini-mongering. The mini-mongering? Ebb and Flow, episode 309, Masturbator. I think we've done that one, haven't we? Isn't there an episode where we've done the masturbator joke? Like Masturbator? Knowing this show, we've had that as the title before. But I think I'm going to go with Old Man Logan's recommendation here. You are wasteful and we're not raised right. Because that just sounds enough confrontational that, people will be like, what the F is he talking about? What a jerk. Telling me? Who the hell is he? Telling me I wasn't raised right? Yeah, I'm telling you weren't raised right. Oh, man. It's fun being a jerk sometimes. Just, for gigs. Just for gigs. Just for giglays. And I seen somebody joined us on the Discord. Oh, I see two joined us. Holy cramoli. I see, was it Mathis Von Brock and Jatham? I thought Jatham, you were already part of our Discord. Weren't you already part of Discord? I thought I've seen Jatham in there before. Anyway. Well, I think we're done. I'm going to end the show there. See you later. If you're brand new to this hobby and you want some help with a particular technique, or you want help with a color scheme, or you just in general just need some help, I welcome any and all. Of course, you can ask your questions in the chat, or if you're not watching this after the fact, you can send your questions or emails to chris@wayofthebrush.com. It is in the description below. If you're going to send pictures in the email, which I highly recommend you do, send them as attachments in the email. Don't send it off as links to other sites, because there's ads and crap like that, and you never know where a link's going to take us, and you never know what kind of ad's going to pop up, right? So, and knowing me, I mean, like, because I never clear my browser history, so. So send them to Chris@wayofthebrush. It's KRS. It's in the description below. Just click it in the description. Click it in the description below. And of course, in the description below, you'll also find a link for wayofthebrush.com, central hub of all this silliness. Has links for all the social medias as well as Discord. Join us on Discord. It's a lot of fun, and it's we keep the conversation rolling there 24/7. So always join us on Discord. Of course, if you want to post stuff, I got many channels and crap like that. So it's a lot of fun. Just again, one rule: don't be a dick, right? Don't be. I was gonna say don't be an ass, but no, an ass. A lot of the monkeys are asses. So I can't really quite say that because a lot of them are asses. But it's no holds barred hobbying, no holds barred, just like this show, kind of. Like I said, just don't be a dick. If you can restrain yourself from being a dick, then great. You can stay all the live long day, and we'll talk painting, we'll talk life, we'll talk about whatever, right? So I welcome any and all. Can't remember the rest of the spiel. Oh, right. WayofTheBrush.com also has links for t-shirts. Want to get yourself a t-shirt? Look like a connoisseur of all that's good and holy in this world. They're wearing a Way of the Brush t-shirt. And of course, if you purchase yourself a shirt, send a picture of yourself in your shirt, and I will add it to the Monkey Shrine, which is also at WayofTheBrush.com. And of course, you'll also find a link for Patreon. It's how I keep the lights on. That's how I am able to, do all this and continue to inform, educate, and entertain. So a huge thank you to everybody who currently supports me by Patreon. All the things, we wouldn't have gotten this far if it wasn't for you. And so a huge thank you. And of course, if you're not able to support monetarily, i.e. money, clicking thumbs up, liking, following, subscribing, commenting, and all the other engagement things with a video, that all helps tremendously as well. And all it takes is a couple clicks of the buttons, and you're helping me out a great deal, because it basically pushes the video further, and more people will see it. The more and more people engage with the video, thumbing it up and commenting and stuff like that, that all helps. So, and it all takes a couple clicks, and you're helping me out a great deal. Big thank you to Carl, aka Guymere Alpha, aka Beer and Blood Bowl. That was his YouTube channel. The channel's still going, but Carl's no longer with us, and so always much love for Carl. We take time to thank Carl for taking the time out of his day to create the email jingle to play before the email segment of the show. So always much love for Carl. And of course, speaking of love, much love to my baby brother Evan for creating the intro outro music that plays the beginning and end of the show. So always much love to him. And of course, if you're into rare comics, check him out, EB Comics. If you're into rarities, like we're talking rare, like damn, I didn't know they made this comic. And I think there's some really oldies he's got too. He's got a lot. He's got a whack ton. He's still going through them and putting them up for sale because So just if you're following him, and if you're still into comics, If you're into comics, check him out, and he might have something that you're looking for. You never know. With so many comic collectors, there's so many particular tastes. It's hard to say that. He doesn't stick with just the mainstream stuff. He's also got some really obscure ones. I think he was posting some Sergeant Rock ones, wasn't he? For a while, I think he was. Yeah, he's probably got a big collection of Sergeant Rock. I remember that one was popular way back when I was a young guy. Anyway, some of you are like, what the hell is Sergeant Rock? I don't even know if that comic still exists anymore. But anywho, any last words of wisdom from the monkeys? I don't know. We've already got conversations rolling on Discord. Anybody can hear my Discord chiming in here. Old Man Logan, loved the Demon Warrior, great work. John J, episode 309. Oh, we already said that one. Yeah, I already said. Jatham, I could have sworn I was already a member. Guess I was not. Yeah, I thought you were. I seen you pop up on the Discord. I already thought you were. Well, shows what I know. Shows how much I'm paying attention. Terracotta, episode 309. Shut up and paint your minis. Minis, like Minnie Mouse, minis. Or is that the way you spell plural minis? I thought it was always M-I-N-I-S. No? 2 N's? Minis? Hansel? Ratman Miniatures, I just joined the Discord too. Yeah, I saw that. Awesome, thank you. Ghost Starman Deluxe, Sergeant Rock. Haven't heard of it. No, it's an old comic. But he's got him. I was like, oh, because I was almost like, oh crap, because I used to flip through him because a buddy of mine, he used to collect them because he had an older brother who collected comics, and so he had a whole bunch in his collection. Anyway, I can't remember where I was going with any of this. But yeah, if you're still in the comics, I keep saying that because I'm not into comics anymore. So I'm saying it I know there's tons of people who are into comics, and comics are still being produced today. It's just my own biases, I guess, at play because I'm not into comics. It's been a long time since I've collected comics. I used to, but not anymore. I gave my comics to my brother actually. But anyway, I'm done. I'm rambling at this point now. Did we learn something today? I have no idea. Probably not. Knowing this show, probably not. So if you just tuned in for the end, what was covered today? Dude, we should probably start doing a summary at the end of the show, like what we covered. I ranted for a long while on what was I ranting about? I don't even remember. Oh, we talked about the fundamentals today. Right? That's right. It was the big one. We went over to the fundamentals. We covered the fundamentals. For anybody who's not familiar with the fundamentals, that's what we covered. Very important. The fundamentals of miniature painting. 3 things. 3. Bang. Yeah, I don't quite remember what I was talking about. It's usually in, like, it's my brain to my mouth and it's gone. That's why I do the show, so there's a record of it. Because sometimes I spit out maybe a nugget of information. Yeah, again, I'm rambling again. I'm just going to end this here. So, take care of those brushes. They'll take care of you, and I will see you guys later. Maybe. Possibly. No, I will. Alright, now that the sucker's cleared out. Okay, now the real show starts. Alright. I missed that. No, wait, what was it? I was doing this thing here. That's what I was doing. And usually every episode, we usually kind of do this, kind of look at what Games Workshop is doing. I don't know why, because it's usually... You guys can't even really see me with my mic in the way, can you? Maybe I should have it more off to the side. Or maybe I'll just continue to hide right here. Holy crap, it's probably pretty loud for you. So, yeah. Warhammer Underworld's new warbands, Beastgrave. So, very, very cool. Now, I don't know if these are sculpts that were already previously released for the orcs, or are these new sculpts for the game. Something tells me these are kind of like a reboxing, but I don't know. I'm not that in tune with it. Same with these Daughters of Cain. I like the Daughters of Cain models. They're very, very cool. I like the Serpentine models. They're really, really cool. I need a new word for cool, but anyway. And of course we got all sorts of dice and cards and stuff, and a new White Dwarf. Exciting. Horse Heresy, the Buried Digger. Oh, Digger. Is that one person's handle? Diggery Dude. Anyway. Yeah, that's it. Warhammer Underworlds. Anybody's fired up Warhammer. Now, which is better, Warhammer Underworlds or the other one? Oh my god, the name freaking escapes me. Warcry, that's it. Is Warcry better? Or is Underworlds? I gotta look around my mic here, so you hear my voice probably moving around, but anyway, yeah. Go Starman. Thought the orcs and elves were new sculpts. Not sure though. Yeah, I don't think they are. I think they are old sculpts. I don't think they're new. Ghost of Starman. Ooh, back new post. Yeah, post show. David Vega. Yes. Evan Flo. Yeet. His name is Robert Paulson. Mike Grimshaw. Underworlds feels more board game, doesn't it? Yeah. Well, Warcry is what, more like Kill Team, and Underworlds is more board gamey. Is there a 40k board gamey thing equivalent to Underworlds? I don't even know. This is not Blackstone Fortress, because that's more Warhammer Quest. That operates on that same kind of mechanic of the way that game works. I'm trying to think now. No, because Kill Team's its own thing. Kill Team is basically like Necromunda. It's not quite, like a board game. Whereas Warcry, Warcry looks like it runs more like like Age of Sigmar, right? It's more of like like a Kill Team. It's like Kill Team. Underworlds uses hex movement cards and proprietary dice. Right. Is there a 40k version of that? Like, they have Underworlds. Is there a 40k version of Underworlds? Would it even work? Would a 40k version of Underworlds even work? Because it'd be really cool and a really great excuse for, different kind of models. If, there was some sort of, 40k, dungeon crawler kind of game, set in the 40k universe, right? It doesn't have to be Space Marines. Everything doesn't have to be freaking Space Marines. I mean, it could be, something else, right? What? I don't know, but immediately the first thing I like, as far as like emulating like a dungeon crawl, is obviously an Underhive game, right? And you can have plenty of villains in an Underhive game. I mean, you can have Chaos Cultists, Genestealer cults, law enforcement, the gangs themselves, you know what I mean? Like, but it doesn't have to be just the gangs. It can also just be, any kind of crazy crap, right? I mean, you can always imagine, there's Tau infiltrators or orcs, Eldar, there's a webway gate under the hive, or, whatever. I mean, again, these scenarios are only limited by what you can, imagine, as it were, right? Mike, Warcry and Kill Team do have movement in inches. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like Warcry and Kill Team, are they both comparable to their game systems, right? Because Warcry is Age of Sigmar related. Age of Sigmar being the big game, Warcry being the smaller game, and there's 40k, and then Kill Team, which is Kill Team being the small version of 40k. It still uses similar kind of rule set, although it's more like Necromunda. But anyway, isn't Blackstone Fortress slightly along the board game line with hex movement? Yeah, again, like I said, Blackstone Fortress is like that, but Blackstone Fortress is more like Warhammer Quest, where you're laying tiles down and you're moving into different areas. At least that's the way I've always thought it was. Whereas Underworlds is a fixed board map. Well, and it's not really quite fixed, right? Because you lay down tiles and you arrange how your battlefield's going to look, but otherwise it's just big tiles and it's a big area, and it's more like an arena kind of thing. Old Man Logan, I don't think there is a 40k equivalent of Underworlds. The card component of Underworlds is unique to it. Warcry is similar to Kill Team. Yes. Right. So really, is it a fair comparison then to compare Underworlds to Warcry? Like, if I was going to get into a newer, smaller game, would I be better off going into Warcry or going into Underworlds, right? And as far as I understood things, Underworlds has its own miniatures, like I said, but like these orc sculpts I was just looking at, and the Daughters of Cain, those look like established models already. Those sculpts don't look original. They look like they're already in the lines. Like the orcs, definitely. The big guy with the top knot and everything like that. He looks like a model from another line. But I mean, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they're just so in line with their design aesthetic that they look like they should be already. You know what? I'm gonna have a look at the orc line right now. Where are orcs? Orcs are destruction. Orc clans. Okay. I don't know. Maybe I am wrong. Maybe they are original sculpts. I don't know. I'm not seeing a lot of orc sculpts for these guys. Well, maybe they are original sculpts. Hey, it's not the first time I've been wrong. Yeah, I don't see anything in this line. So yeah, they must be original sculpts then. Okay, I'm wrong. What do I know? Yeah. Yeah, so they just must be so in line with their design aesthetic that, yeah, they look like they already exist, right? Because they just fit in with their army. So the Daughter of Cain models, let me have a look at Daughter of Cain. Where are the Daughter of Cain models? What faction are they? They are... Where the hell am I? Oh, for the love of God. I keep clicking back, but it keeps taking me to the same damn page. What the hell's going on here? What the hell is going on? That's what? Order? Daughters of Cain? Let's have a look here. Yeah, I would have thought for sure that these models have already existed, but again, what do I know? Like, am I not getting all the Daughters of Cain models? No? Right, because the one with the arch, with the bow, I would have thought that model already existed for that unit, but no. The Medusae Bloodstalkers or whatever the hell they are. Oh, that's it. Is that it? That's only like one page of models? They're cool looking models, but... Okay. Yeah, they're original sculpts. My bad. So, original sculpts. Shows what I know, right? But yeah, very cool. I mean, if you collect those factions, I mean, these are nice little models to even have inside your force, you know? But yeah. Very cool. Andy Ritchie, all Underworlds are original sculpts. Yeah, I'm learning that now. I thought they would have been like reboxed or whatever, but no. Old Man Logan, now if you like Magic the Gathering, you might like Underworlds. See, I've never really played Magic the Gathering. And I have no wish to play it. I do have Underworlds. I have a gang for Underworlds. I have the Dark Oath gang. The human wild people looking ones. Yeah, I have those already. And I was gonna, paint them up and start playing, but just never got around to it. Andy, they do release Age of Sigmar rules for them. Right, like I've seen, because I have the app, and the Blackstone Fortress models, they have like 40k rules for them, so you can include them, like the little elf character, you can include it in an Eldar army, and that kind of stuff, which is cool. I think it obviously gives more life to those kits. I can't have this mic here anymore. But anyway, yeah. All right, so that's our last little bit of hobby talk. This has been another episode of Hobby Talk. Does anybody have a show like that? Hobby Talk? Everybody's all got all sorts of names for their casts and everything like that, but is there one called Hobby Talk? Oop, I don't really need that window open, or that window, or this window for that matter. Yeah, I think it's time to get the hell out of here, right? What time are we out of here? Holy cramoles, yeah, it's 30 minutes overtime. 35 minutes overtime. I think it's time to get the hell out of here. Let's go enjoy the rest of our Saturday. Go enjoy the rest of our day. Be a force. I'm talking to the mic for some reason. Be a force of positivity in the world. Go paint something. Go hug a loved one. Go wash the car. Mow the lawn. Go do something. Or sit down, read a book. Whatever it is you got to do, go do it. I will see you guys later. I'm going to go eat lunch now.